Good morning, Commanders. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, so let's go with that computer. What did I do? That one? How about... Well, do I need to be focused on you? Apparently I do. Such useful hotkeys. Or maybe it has to be because I was usually doing it as a minimized. It has to be in the same tab. No, still doesn't care. Okay. Anyway, we've run for a couple of years a... You're not going to want to go off the screen, are you? Nope, it's going to be an outright jerk. How about that? Ish. We're in a charity tournament where people can add various, where donations, people can request their champion to get a set of units. Now, what we've found in the past is that very often a couple of items get almost all the donations. So in setting up the next one, I kind of want to cut down the number of options to make it a little bit clearer. There was also some discussion of adding some Legion units in. But I want to start with the basics and maybe kind of have that off to the side. So we need a new tab. I also going to need a new section. To save it in. So I don't really have a good convention set up for this one. I'll be under PA. To start with, it's going to be a little bit easier to think through this, given the way the commentary is set up. We kind of start with this. So we've got, we'll worry about codes later. We've got 1, 3, 5, 10. Well, I guess to a certain extent, if you have number for each one, you can kind of shuffle them around, change prices. Okay, so actually, game enders are kind of individually priced. So that might need 2 columns. The main thing I don't want to worry about right now is fidgeting with lines. This does have number, but numbers we can go back and edit, I think. That's different than what's included. Ares, Inferno. At this level, I can really just say basic factory. And then we can blow that out later. Orbital launcher, lob, umbrella at 5. We have teleporter, advanced factory, metal energy, Omega, locust, Phoenix, tunnel, laser turret. 15. Vulcans, Manhattan. 20 was just the nuke. And then you guys, yeah, we could deal with the exact prices of these later. Then all the Titans. Which were all the same. So we're probably going to get into some pricing on these. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about is that most of the Titans were actually kind of unused last time. So if we start getting into, I kind of left myself without columns to mark things. We could use formatting for a little bit here. Well, okay, so that looks terrible. So the things that went over really well, Phoenix, Zeus, metal energy. How much of an outlier was that? Kernel. 32 units used 16 times. So possibly we could get, look at the pricing of that one. Right? So I've got some set up to deal with Paradeco buildings. Probably is easier if somebody does a large donation. So Boom Umbrella Catalyst. Were used but predominantly once. Umbrella might be useful as a save somebody. Catalyst is a very, very specific end game thing. Booms have been very good in years past. Did not do as well this time. Landmines did pretty well. What exactly was our number on that? 20 landmine. Well, for 30, we'd have to do like, or at 50 we have to do like that $3, and it's actually a little bit less valuable then. I don't think they did so well. They'd survive that, and actually $3.50 would make it awkward. Yeah, teleporters are always hard to place. And I don't think... I mean, it happened. Requesting a kernel on the planet kind of does the same thing. Where are you? Did I? Oh, okay. This is looking like a header row. Inferno, Pelican, Vanguard, turrets. Inferno, Pelican. Vanguard. Laser turret. And maybe Helios still has a place? If there's an orbital thing going on. Totally unused last year. Barely used. Lob, Hulkins, Manhattan. Lob, Hulkins. I want to say just remove it. See if anybody complains. So that just gets rid of that tier, which makes things closer to a doubling scale. And then what were the Titans at? So Halley was a 10. Catalyst was 20. I guess I could have tried reducing the other Titans. But then the Zeus, if anything, could go up. And it doesn't really quite fit. Ragnarok. Actually, they've made for good moments in previous years, but was untouched at 40. I think the discussion was we don't want to have too many of them. We actually had none. I don't think I really called that out because Ragnarok. Specified donations. All right, so what do we got left? So booms were down a bit. Landmine. Wait, did we? Was there actually Icarus? They weren't used many times. Yeah, it was mostly one big one for the memes, I think. Hermes fills the role of giving someone vision someplace. There's a lot of stuff in the $10 toe, actually. I seem to remember Omegas being kind of a thing. Early on, that can be a little bit of a problem. Which is why you kind of need to have umbrellas to counterbalance it, I guess. Orbital launcher kind of goes along with factories. See, yeah. Icarus could make more sense if you couldn't give someone energy plants. Boom and Landmine aren't quite the same. It's like one offensive, one defensive. Factories. Saw some light use. And actually, advanced factories did okay. There'd just be a whole lot of items to remove. Would have been nice. Move some stuff there, move some stuff there. Locusts are easy to misuse. They did pretty good last time. Kaiji did pretty last time. Omega did pretty good last time. So Hallie was a 10, but it's classified as a game ender, which means it has time restrictions. Same with Catalyst and Zeus, Ragnarok. Interestingly, Nuke does not. So that makes $5 kind of all the support tier. Now, there's another thing. Is that if we do bring in some Legion stuff, they might fill some of the same roles. So the awkward thing here is we do have factories. If we start including Legion units, the question is, should you include Legion factories? It would just kind of turn into a whole bunch of The other thing about factories is that if you did have someone who didn't know the game so well, and they might not know what that means. I mean, units you could kind of say, could kind of describe what it is, what it's for. Factories are a little more generic. So that's a bit reduced. I'm tempted to say that Locust and Boom fill the same role. They're both like snipe attack units. Now they do have different uses. Booms actually did pretty good though. I think Locust did pretty good. Booms were mostly one big one. And a big, well, yeah, if it was one big one. But that kind, yeah, that leaves no, like, get somebody a bunch of like any kind of immediate military power at the low tiers. Although small amounts of booms aren't going to make it, well, maybe an early game push you could do something with. So right now we've got a lot of stuff in the $10 tier. Now, oh, here's something. We could actually put one Locust down at $1. Because they're just 10 times. Same with Phoenix, really. And that would both be kind of easy here, have a little bit of military. So what if we make you Locust, and I don't really know that Phoenix. At which point I am tempted to make it 50 landmines for $3. It's a slight loss of value, though. Since landmines are a multiple, I guess it works. Kaiju could be moved down to 5 for simplicity of math. Oh, this is kind of a nice eco tier right now. I guess Colonel's a little bit there, but this is all more of attacking stuff. Well, so is Locust. I guess actually Locust Phoenix. Phoenix could also be defensive. But you know what? I'm trying to make things easy for myself, and that makes my math easier. As nice it is to have super even tiers. And this caddy's also going to be large just because of the factories. Anything else where the math is really awkward? No, got rid of lobs, got rid of teleporters, Locust Phoenix move, laser turrets are gone. Yeah, so that just leaves Landmine and Inferno, or Hermes. Right, so if we start turning this more into existing format, we would have $1. We're just going to call them A's for now. So they started with multiples, so that would be landmine. Landmine, 5 Hermes. And you see, I kind of want to be lazy and say we don't have to write number for the rest. So Locust, Phoenix, and then we have bot, factory. Vehicle factory. Then we have 3B. Yeah, I'm still... If we add Legion, the factories are going to be awkward. Alright, so we have Orbital Launcher, which is just kind of a fancy factory, I guess. And Umbrella. Five C. I kind of want to have factories all at one end. Oh yeah, so that's interesting. T2 metal and T2 energy were the same price, but people tended to be giving them in 2-to-1 ratios. Most of the time. Energy. What was I saying? I'm looking at the wrong ones. What was I saying 2-to-1? Because I'm looking at the wrong columns, maybe? There's a 6-4. 5-4. 9-6. Yeah, so it's a little bit more. Oop. Don't know what that was. And then we have advanced Dot factory advanced. Vehicle factory and advanced. Then at 10D, we have Omega and kernel. Removes 20, or remove 15. Now at a certain point, I just want to have a let's see, so Halley Catalyst. I guess G works for Game Ender. I almost want to say, well, it's not as much Titans because we tried to cut that down. Although A, B, C, D, yeah, we skipped E. Oh, E was probably the 15s. Now these have individual prices. So Halley, Catalyst, Zeus. Really? Well, yeah, I think they were cost ordered before. So it was 10, 20. Actually, this makes a really nice ladder, actually. If we up the Zeus a little bit. Alright, so that should be a full transcribe of the stuff above. Let's leave one for headers. So we have cost, code, unit. Alright, so now what I don't know so well is the Legion units. Didn't Exodus have like a guide? Okay, they do. Let's see, is this in place? But, okay, so it's individual pages. Okay, so I think that's a basic bot, which we don't have docs, so that makes sense. Not necessarily light armor fast. Anti-air. Yeah, I think Phoenix was kind of left as the anti-air option in the menu. AoE suicide bombs. It's basically a boom. Hmm. Now this is sort of an interesting unit. I've seen this in play. It deploys to a radar. You'd almost have to, as a T1 unit, you almost have to give several of them for a donation. For like a $1 donation. So it's interesting, but well, I mean, I guess if you gave 5 of them or something, it'd give you a bunch of intel early on. Swarms of light bots. Probably not that different from like a slammer or something. Damage soaker, long range, heavy armor. Yeah, I really need somebody who knows Legion better. I'm just seeing if there's anything really interesting. Like the radar unit's sort of interesting. Maybe a slow damage dealer. So advanced anti-air. Time delay bombs. Might be a little bit more interesting. Okay, so we left out Manhattans. Explosive unit might be an interesting one. And that's a proxy commander. What are the price tiers on? Well, that works. So single factories are 5. Kernels are 10. Kernels can build factories. So maybe the answer to at least advanced factories is you just do Praetorian and Kernel? I mean, I don't like that because they're essentially the same role, but that gives you the option to build all the different structures for each of them. No, so we didn't have basic tanks. Damage soaker, crowd control, that's basically an Inferno. Or fills a very similar role, and it has not proved popular in previous events. Oh, we don't haven't had. Well, we've just generally avoided water to solve that problem. So the torpedo isn't interesting. T1 long range. Still, I don't know. Mass T1 units is not something we've done much of. Damage dealer, AoE, heavy armor. Maybe the AoE is interesting? That's similar to Vanguard, which did not prove popular. Now, these all could be more effective in the Legion version. Energy. Formations of heavy units. That might. Actually, these both feel like they could be in that role. I mean, that would definitely be a fancier effect. Anti-air, anti-orbital. There's the Blue Hawk. There's a similar role and has not yet been put in. But it could be an interesting one. Likewise, probably similar to a sniper, I think. Okay, fighter bomber, not. Well, we had the Phoenixes. Raider, transport, flyer, AoE. Okay, self-destructive air might be an interesting little twist on the Boombot type thing. And it's T1s. That could be an interesting swap out for Boombots. I'm assuming it is primarily against air, though. Crowd control. Yeah, that would mainly be an anti-air thing. Missile volleys could be kind of fun. Another rocket volley, huh? Rocket barrage, rocket volley. Air-to-ground fire support. Oh, drone carrier. That could be another interesting one. Mothership. This doesn't say strong against air units. So does that ground attack? Might be interesting. T2 Recon. Well, we've already got Hermes that kind of fill that role. Deployable turret could be interesting. Ooh, a mobile teleporter. That might be an interesting twist. We're not really doing naval. We have not typically done naval. There might be some interesting things in there. Okay, basic swarm, don't really have. We could swap out Hermes for Sputnik. It's probably roughly the same, but you can mix it up a little bit. Transport. Wait. Scout radar. Advanced optics or weaponry. So they actually have two kinds of scouts. So this one might be like radar only. And this is like super fast vision, but maybe not very much of it. So I might have to try some of that stuff out. Face lasers we didn't have on the base game. Or, oh, T2 radar scout. Deorbital. Yeah, I think that's the same role as, I'm forgetting the name of the Lancer, maybe? We could swap out Omega for... Well, there's an equivalent. We could just swap it out for the Legion version. Legion orbital. I don't know if you do the air to ground, though. Oh, actually, maybe, ooh, Tyr could be an interesting Titan. Extra giant space laser. Anti-air, shield power. Armor fortress. and this could be an easy swap out for Ragnarok. Oh, special structures. That's essentially a defensive structure, I think. Oh, and the shield projector. That's kind of one of the iconic things. Star cannon. Now, we have not currently had unit cannons in. This is a little bit more area focused. Although that means its placement would depend a lot on where Puppet Master puts it, which maybe not so great. All right, so mass extractor, advanced mass extractor. I have to compare the stats on these. I seem to remember that they kind of played with the exact numbers a little bit. Advanced. Now these could be more interesting as gifts because they self-destruct. Now the problem, of course, with this is that if somebody gives a massive number of power plants, it's much easier for me to place them in bulk, but of course you don't want to place these in bulk a lot of times. Ooh, and the Omni Silo. I don't know that storage is really a... Yeah, we've never really done storage. This is a little bit nicer because it's both. And commanders are primarily stylistic, I think. All right, so there's a couple things where I just don't have, well, I can do a little bit of looking at units in game, but I'm really going to have to consult with people who've played more as far as actual battlefield effectiveness. So we might want to suggest that T2 energy gets swapped out for and I want to look at the numbers of this. Actually, is it PA? Do they just straight up have, or is this just the lobby? No, it doesn't really have links to the other, oh, useful links. Unit database. Oh, and they actually do include Legion. All right, economy. So basic metal extractor is 7 versus 8. Advanced metal extractor is 20 versus 19. So the basic one would be a better thing to gift somebody. Advanced energy is 3750, and I think the power catalyst is 6,000. So it raises the question of whether it should... Advanced power catalyst, advanced energy plant, more HP, build cost. Actually, build cost is comparable. So that's an easy one to swap out, and we could, oops. Just kind of do some equivalents just to mix it up. I don't know. Like, I want to play with the scouts to see how those work. I don't know if they had something that's specifically Locust. Phoenix are unique in that they have the multi-planet. I didn't see if Legion had the air. Factories are awkward because you'd basically have to duplicate the factories for that. And I mean, I guess give production should be easy enough for somebody who's just who doesn't know the game that well, if they don't know exactly what units you can produce out of those. So we might have to produce those. I'm tempted to say, what is it? That would have to be a bot, right? We have the, or maybe it counts as a special, because it's like Praetorian or something. Reconnaissance other. No, nukes, bots. Annihilation, transfer. Commanders? Titans. Oh, construction units. Praetorian. If we wanted to give even chance to get that stuff out, we would have to put in Praetorian. And I would almost, I'm tempted to say, what that, well, I keep wanting to say remove the advanced factories, but they actually did okay. But that would allow you to build advanced factories for twice the cost. Yeah, so if we're doing Legion, duplicating factories might be unavoidable. Locust, Phoenix, Hermes could possibly be replaced. I don't know if I even saw landmines in there for them. Oh, maybe it's just part of the units that do that. Factories, which would also mean you would have to duplicate orbital factory. Assuming that they have. That's construction units, factories. Starship projector. Yeah, basic orbital factory. So yeah, you would have to, oh, actually, that is orbital launcher, not the T2 factory. So that would be about defense. Defensive structures. Anti-nuke launcher, artillery long, shield generator, rocket barrage, defense satellite, torpedo launcher, ion defense. I don't know if that's... No, it can target air. That might be for unit cannon defense. So that would be a place where we could possibly put in a sub. And you would have to do, if we did factories for all of them, which kind of makes me just not want to do factories at all. Focused Phoenix, that's an easy sub. Kaiju, I didn't pay much attention if there was an equivalent to that. Catalyst, they have a battleship. I want to make sure that it can fill the same roles. I've not modified their nukes. A nuke should be a nuke. Alien Catalyst, I think you could pretty much swap out interchangeably for flavor, if anything. Maybe, if there's not a significant difference, we should leave it alone. I don't know. So we were looking at Annihilation. So it looks like Catalyst is a catalyst. Actually, what I need was compare. Yeah, same cost, same HB. It would be at most flavor. So we know Zeus's are popular. Once again, could be subbed out for flavor. And actually, oh, so this stayed up. I don't really need that. Titans. So tier might be an interesting one. I don't know enough about how these sub out. Thor might be interesting. It's a fun big walker. Although we kind of have to make space. Well, right now we've got all Titans in there. And the awkward thing is that other Titans besides Zeus were unused before, and I don't really know how these would work out. Maybe the tier could be 2. They do not have costs here. Is Titans category? Oop. Okay, I don't know how I clicked on that. So what do I want to do? A little bit, in some cases, some comparison here. The nearest, so it is a bot, okay. The nearest thing to this would be Atlas, probably. Some more HP, same build cost. But it's not AoE, I guess. And the other one we were concerned about was, what would be Orbital? Tier 40,000. Probably, well, Helios is a very different role. So it's a little bit more expensive than other Titans. How about aircraft? Zeus, 30,000. 30,000. So maybe tier should also be a 30. And then Zeus was just too popular for its own good. And maybe we should try you back at 25 where it used to be. But Titans were generally unused. Oh, we went to Orbital. What was Imperator? So it's more no, it has more HP, same build cost. More range, lower DPS. All right, weapon 1. Targets orbital. Air, land. So it's got a mix of weapons. But it does target ground. So that could be a straight up swap out. Imperator. So mix those up. I don't know if there's an equivalent to Kaiju. Possibly do the Scouts. Actually, the Stats probably has. So Hermes. Vision 200, Orbital Vision 600. Was Spectre one of them? Orbital Radar Probe, small vision radius. Okay, that's a 1-to-1 with Hermes. What was the other one? Sputnik. Is it like a recon category? Oh, is it possibly a building? Or a build-in space reconnaissance? Oh. Okay. It does have speed. Max speed is considerably slower. Vision radius 300, orbital vision radar, but it also has radar detection. And it has energy consumption. as radars tend to do. All right, so Spectre could be a straight up swap, but it's actually functionally equivalent and maybe less familiar. Sputnik adds radar detection, which could be interesting. But people could also be burdening people with energy. It's a little bit tankier, but also slow. See, the faster ones might be better for getting in and scouting something. Might want to seek some feedback on that one. And then it's like, is there anything? Oh, the shield generator. It'll be a special structure, I presume. Rampart. So actually, we kind of need to know where the cost profile of that is. Defensive structures? Rampart. Built by... So it's advanced unit. 2,400. What? I think kernels are way up there on cost. How about a kaiju? It would be technically naval. Build cost 1,500. We know, so that's going to be kind of in that awkward place in the middle. Oh, no, it's construction. Yeah, 7,000. So how about factories? Advanced bot factory, 3,600. And that is a $5. I'd kind of go with an umbrella type thing. What's an umbrella? Well, we also know that turrets didn't go over well. So might need to be a little bit cheaper. Build cost 900. Hey, B2511, how's it going? So we are, well, we have in the past, and we're thinking about doing it again, run a charity tournament where, based on donations, your champion gets some additional units in order to fight the game. So I'm trying to think about what the menu should look like if we do it again. And in particular, there is a community expansion called Legion. And there's been some interest in trying to get that in. So I'm kind of looking at where we could add in some of those units and, you know, where they would be bucketed. Actually, one thing I need to do. Imperador replaced what? Oh, Omega. So if we don't do Legion, we need to know what's... what that would stay as. So what I'm trying to figure out right now is Legion has this shield generator, which is kind of a novel thing. And I'm trying to figure out, where are we putting things that are around 2400 metal? So an umbrella is significantly lower cost. So we're kind of, right now, we're in this awkward place between like a $3 or $5 item. How about the orbital launcher? Now, defensive turrets have not been popular in the past. I'm leaning towards lower cost. With numbers base eco. Yeah, well, there's, oh. And Boof TM new setup for what? Yeah, well, I mean, these are gifts, but I just want some kind of baseline for for about where it goes, because and then this is something I'm definitely going to be getting feedback from some other people on. But just as a baseline, so defensive structures, factories, stream setup. Well, the one thing that's a little bit different is I'm on my laptop today. Since I've traditionally done a lot of my Planetary Annihilation stuff as well as the tournament organization stuff here, so I just had all the spreadsheets and everything convenient. If I do some in-game testing, I might go over to the other computer, which is actually doing all my encoding. But I think I've actually figured out some basics from the stats. So 2400, Air Factory, Orbital Launcher, 2000. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that would be out of place here. So that's one of the more unique units. Yeah, so I'm looking at places where we can bring in a little bit of Legion stuff into the menu, where it would be interesting or unique. Like the T2 Energy is a little bit uniquely different. The awkward thing I have right now is that factories have been somewhat popular in the past, but if we're doing Legion, then we kind of have to allow, we're going to have like, 12 menu items that are just factories. I mean, we had 6 before, so that's only doubling it. So Hermes could potentially go out for the orbital radar. It's slower, so I don't know if that would actually be good for helping people like go find a commander or something. I don't know if Legion has a air to orbital thing, and I don't know if they have a direct equivalent to Locust. There is one of the things I saw that was sort of unique is there's sort of like the advanced self-destruct thing. So I kind of need to go through again, and really I just need to get people who've played the game, who played Legion more, to recommend the more iconic units. So we've done a whole lot of basic bot stuff. I currently removed booms in favor of locusts because they were 10 for 10, so we could just make them 1 for 1, and it's easier math. Instigator's sort of interesting, but it would have to be the 5 of, probably. I mean, we'll want to reorder this. That's one of the more interesting units for early game stuff. We haven't done a whole lot of just general T2 units. So I'm not really sure. Like Necromancer might be interesting. Because it's a little bit of a unique unit. So it feels like that might be a similar place as Locust. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure they tried to do some things different. All right, Locusts. Build cost 240. What was it? Purger? No, that's the smaller one. Necromancer. Build cost 1400, so that's... Okay, so this is more of a Manhattan, maybe. Which we had in, it's really awkward. Problem with Manhattans, they were really awkward to figure out, you know, where do you place them in the home territory? Do you attack with them? Okay, so they're cheaper than Manhattans. Weapon. Death Explosion, 3000. That's damage. Less damage. Much less radius. That's fine. But you're probably not a 1. Do we have any... Well, the Rampart was about there. Purger? Maybe? One of the more interesting units. Okay, you're a commander. Or a sub-commander. Okay, we haven't done a whole lot of basic units. And I don't know myself. So... The electric tank might be interesting. I don't know, because I know we had Vanguards and Infernos that never got used. Maybe this would have a little bit more flash effect. $750, so that puts it in an awkward place. Where it is kind of around here. Actually, let's check Kaiju. It's a mid-range thing. Actually, they're 1500. So if Kaiju were there, arguably Purger might need to be. But Kaiju are on the high end of popular. Whereas Vanguards... Well, you're not much of a Vanguard. Maybe we move you... and try a Havoc in there. We haven't done a whole lot of air. Nova's interesting. We've not had a whole lot of air stuff in the past. As far as I know, actually, this should be able to tell me if it's air only. Attacks air only, yeah. So that's kind of a crowd control thing. And right now we've kind of got the Phoenix in there as... And because it's T1, we'd probably be doing, 10 of them or something. I guess it could be useful for swinging air control back. Typically couldn't be used for a comp snipe. And we haven't done a whole lot of T2 air in the past. Oh, the drone carrier is another thing that might be interesting. So we want about, where is your cost bracket? What was that? It was Meteor. You are in the 3,000 metal range. I'm thinking that the Omegas and such were all significantly more than that. Significantly more than that. So you would kind of have to be somewhere in there. And I guess we could do like 2 Purgers for 5 or something, but you're already kind of bumped out of here. And yeah, you could use multiples to make it up in some cases. I just don't like having to do math. T2 flying radar. We kind of got the Hermes to cover that. Deployable turrets, also an interesting unit. If we do teleporters, mobile teleporter could be interesting, but we just haven't had teleporters used well in the past. But this does take away some of the angst with me placing them. I forget. Is this actually usable as an entrance? Or is there also a basic transfer? So that's the Comet. So this is where the base page is actually a little more useful, because it lists out Skybridge. Teleportation, yes. There is a basic teleporter. Yes, that's where it becomes awkward, because you'd almost have to give like the basic teleporter and the Comet to make that useful. Oh, and that is itself, that is the interplanetary flyer unit. But to make it immediately useful, well, I mean, it could be any teleporter, and everybody has the possibility to build a teleporter. The Skybridge itself, build cost 800. And if we were doing that, it probably would be a Skybridge. Build cost 800. Which would probably put it into one of these ranges. Given how little teleporters would used, I would say bump it towards the lower end. So that adds a little bit of potential spice to it. Actually, we haven't had the... I just want to check, because Phoenix was a 10 times. Actually, they're 820. So if we really wanted to make those cheap, we could do... We could do that. Okay, so tow is the same plot as Umbrella. Shield generator. That is a T2 vehicle. What was your cost? Yeah, so that's actually in that same range as well. And the Vanguard-like things have not done well in the past. Of course, neither of the static defenses. But I think the Rampart may have been a little more expensive as a baseline. Defensive structures. Yeah, you're 2,400. That's a bit more of a big gift. And then if we did Legion, we would have to do... Now, they actually have different terms. They have... it's like Walker Factory, Armor Factory, Foundry. So it's like Walker Factory, Armor Factory, Flyer Foundry. Which would actually be good because we were using letter codes to distinguish these. And then the basic is a Starship Projector. And then it's just Advanced Foundry. Advanced Flyer Foundry. So that makes the menu a lot bigger than I was hoping. Oops, I didn't adjust that one. I almost want to say we should just move Nuke into game enders. Because it could be a game ender, somebody just got a whole bunch of nukes right off the bat. And it is awkward because it sits out there in a case by itself. In a class by itself. How's time doing? Actually, that's probably okay. It's something I could put out for discussion. Yes, this is one we could swap out. I kind of don't want to swap these out just to swap something out. Total DPS. It's slightly more HP, slightly more metal. Kind of on a 1-for-1. Okay, slightly more range. Okay, so individual shots are more damaging. And it has slight splash for multiple targets. So that might actually be a useful thing. And did this is a lost character. Oh, and is it Foundry or Foundry? Well, actually, the spelling corrections seems to be saying neither. All right, well, it's some place to start a discussion. Hopefully I get some feedback on the factory thing. Kind of want to remove them, but they've actually done well okay, or they've actually done well in the past. All right, so are you working here? Not from there. No. Huh. So this actually used to work with when I didn't have focus, which is annoying. So that's going to be it for now. I've kind of accomplished my immediate goal here. Where is... Oh. Did they remove that panel, or... Is that an interesting little browser thing? Huh. Alright, we'll have to investigate that later. Ha. They gave me a fourth column. Alright, thanks to Deadly Taco, Gamer Siren, Left 4 Dead Cry, Haskin TV, Instant Speed Live, Destructively Phase, Stormius Leopard, Doggen Lake, and Oxac Gaming, and Kurokitsune for hosting me. Let's see, I still don't have this one set up good. What do we have to recommend? Looks like Discarder is working on some bug fixing in our rhythm game. So if you're interested in game development, someplace cool to hang out. Yep, and yeah. For someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.